Yes, my friends, the Baltimore Ravens' last matchup against the Denver Broncos was nothing short of an electrifying spectacle. Let's take a look at what went right and the moments that defined this resounding victory. I also need to talk about some important things we got from the Ravens sidelines today. Before we go any further, hit that like button hard if you loved watching the Ravens beat the Broncos last Sunday. Man, that game was surreal. My heart is still vibrating with joy. If possible, write something like this: "Go Ravens! I believe in the Super Bowl." Now let's talk a little about yesterday. Starting with the Ravens' defense, which has been criticized all season for its inconsistency, this game was a welcome change. The game started with a big defensive play. On the Broncos' first drive, an early pass attempt was deflected by rookie sensation Kyle Hamilton, and Darius Washington, who had been struggling to capitalize on interceptions all season, finally came up with the pick. That set the tone early and sent a message. This defense was not here to mess around. Even Marcus Williams, who faced criticism after being benched last week, stood out with a big tackle for loss early on. While he allowed a significant play later, the overall improvement was noticeable. Now we can't talk about defense without mentioning the Ravens' goal line position. After Brandon Stevens was called for pass interference, putting the ball at the 1-yard line, it seemed like a Denver touchdown was inevitable. But the Ravens dug deep. The defense stopped the Broncos on back-to-back drives, forcing them into a failed trick play on 4th down. While the Broncos did manage to score a touchdown on a later trick play, this moment embodied the bend-but-don't-break nature of the Ravens' defensive effort. There was still some miscommunication, something that has been a thorn in their side all season, but it was much less frequent in this matchup. Zach Orton's adjustments were evident, especially in the way the cornerbacks played more aggressively in close man coverage, and it paid off. Switching gears to special teams, there was another exciting moment when Justin Tucker hit a post on an extra point attempt, only for the ball to bounce. But Tucker's reliability never wavered. Wide receiver Tylan Wallace also had a standout moment with a gutsy punt return that avoided a potential tackle and established strong field position, emphasizing how much each unit contributed to this win. On to the offensive side, where Lamar Jackson was nothing short of sensational. Jackson's perfect passer rating of 158.3 was a testament to how well-oiled this offensive machine was. He went 16 of 19 for 280 yards and multiple touchdowns, proving once again why he is the heart of this team. One of the standout moments came with Zay Flowers' touchdown. The play began with Jackson scrambling for time before finding Flowers, who darted to the sideline and then cut inside with the help of a key block from Rashad Bateman. It was a classic example of teamwork and execution, reminding everyone how dangerous the Ravens can be when they're on fire. Derrick Henry's presence in the backfield cannot be overstated. After last week's near disappearance, the Ravens made sure to feed him consistently this time around. Henry carried the ball 23 times for 106 yards and scored 2 touchdowns, keeping the Broncos' defense on its heels and opening up opportunities for play-action passes. His consistent effort paved the way for Jackson's big plays and showed what this offense can accomplish when the run game is clicking.
Despite the big win, there were still areas for improvement. Brandon Stevens and the secondary gave up some plays that could have been costly in tighter matchups. Stevens, in particular, had moments where he struggled in coverage, but the Ravens capitalized on Bo Nix's overthrows and secured crucial defensive stops when it mattered most. Special teams contributed to the momentum with another highlight, a perfectly executed punt that pinned Denver at the 1-yard line, showcasing just how much every phase played its part. The game's importance wasn't just about the win, it was how they won. The Ravens proved they can bounce back from adversity, especially coming off a tough divisional loss. This victory wasn't just about one player or one play, but the entire roster showing resilience and skill. And with a quick turnaround before their next game, this was exactly the kind of morale boost they needed. Now it's your turn, Ravens flock. What did you think about the Ravens' commanding win over the Broncos? Are you seeing the changes you wanted in the defense? And how do you feel about Lamar Jackson's perfect performance? Let me know in the comments below. Your thoughts are always the pulse of this community, and I can't wait to hear from you. Now, let's look at who impressed the most and who still has work to do after Baltimore's third game scoring 40-plus points this year. First up, Lamar Jackson. The Ravens' star quarterback continues to redefine what it means to be elite. Facing a Denver defense that many have touted as the best in the NFL, Jackson turned the game into his personal showcase. Denver's strategy was clear: stack the box, stop the run, and make Jackson beat them through the air. And beat them he did. Jackson posted his 4th career game with a perfect passer rating, tying an NFL record held by Ben Roethlisberger. But if you ask John Harbaugh, It's only a matter of time before Jackson claims that record outright. With Jackson performing at his current level, it's hard to argue against him being the most valuable player in football right now. Wide receiver Zay Flowers has been nothing short of electric. After starting the season slowly, Flowers has now recorded for 100-plus yard games in his last 5 outings. Even the one game where he fell short of that milestone was due to an ankle injury that clearly limited him. This turnaround is a breath of fresh air for Ravens fans who have long hoped for a homegrown star at wide receiver. Flowers showed he could be a game-changer against the Bengals secondary earlier this season, and fans should be excited to see if he can repeat that performance next week. Offensive coordinator Todd Monken deserves immense credit for engineering a plan that picked apart Denver's formidable defense. One of the biggest shifts from last year has been Monken's effective use of the screen game, exploiting aggressive defenses that try to overcommit against Jackson. This strategy has added a new dimension to Baltimore's offense, keeping opponents guessing and fueling the team's historic offensive output through 9 weeks. While players like Jackson and Flowers are stealing the spotlight, Monken's role as the architect behind these performances shouldn't be overlooked. It's also time to appreciate John Harbaugh's role in rallying his squad. The Ravens have proven time and again that they can rebound after setbacks, thanks largely to Harbaugh's leadership. He may have had some questionable moments this season, but his ability to pull the team together when it matters most is undeniable. Baltimore has rarely strung together multiple losses under his tenure, and that's a testament to his coaching style and the culture he's built. Now, for a surprise riser, defensive end Tavius Robinson. While Baltimore's pass rush has struggled overall, Robinson's development offers a glimmer of hope. The second-year player secured 2 sacks against Denver's Bo Nix and has been a reliable presence against the run. If he continues on this trajectory, he could become the latest success story in a long line of mid-round Ravens defenders blossoming into key starters. Not everything was perfect, though. The pass rush, despite Robinson's bright performance, remains an area of concern. The talent is there. Nnamdi Madubuike is an all-pro. Kyle Van Noy has been one of the league's sack leaders. Odafoa excels in win rate, and Travis Jones, though banged up, has shown his worth. Yet, for reasons hard to pinpoint, consistent pressure has been absent. Unless things improve soon, GM Eric DeCosta might be forced to bring in reinforcements before the trade deadline. Ravens fans, this was an impressive win that restored faith and showcased the team's potential. But what do you think? Can Jackson continue this MVP caliber season? Is Monken the hidden star behind the offense? And should we be worried about the pass rush or Roquan Smith's form? Share your thoughts below. Your input keeps the conversation going.